やった。やった。
Hello everybody and welcome back to Harvest Moon Magical Melody. I am here on the 6th day of fall and just short of a week into the season. I think that I've done really well so far, and there's just a couple of things I want to update everybody on. The first thing you may have noticed was the baby cutscene that I put into the start of this video. I figured it would be a good idea to just show that off. I got the cutscene on the 29th of summer, but I figured it wasn't suiting to put it in the start of a festival video. So that's that. Baby should be expected at the end of winter around the 28th or 29th. So looking at the calendar, we have a couple of festivals. We've got the Moon Festival, the Pumpkin Festival, and the Harvest Festival, all of which I'm not interested in because we've already been to all of those in our first year. However, we have the Fall Horse Race on the 17th day of fall, which I am very interested in attending. This will be our last opportunity to get the note as well as the Power Berry that we can win as a prize. So I'm definitely going to be showing that off. But other than that, I don't have a lot of reason to do a lot of update videos in fall unless something comes up. And you can see also, noticeable change is that I upgraded my house. I did that on the first day of fall and I went to town decorating. I thought it was a lot of fun to decorate it, and I really like the color scheme I've got going on. I think my house looks really good. Kinda cozy and a huge upgrade from what it was last time. I had the level 3 house, which is required for marriage, but you can get a level 4 house from Woody if you spend 15,000 gold and give him 80 pieces of lumber. So as you can see here, I've made the downstairs my little living area. I've got my bed, my kitchen, and I have an area to store all of my items as well as my toolbox. So I spend most of the time on the bottom floor, but with the upgrade you also get a second floor. And my second floor is kind of just a little entertainment area. And it's kind of funny because I subconsciously set this place up very similar to how I set up my Animal Parade house. It was kind of everything that I needed on the bottom floor and then just basically a spare room on the top. But I do think it's nice. I think I've set it up really nice. A lot of the furniture that I have works with the color scheme. So that's that. The only unfortunate thing with furniture I found was that you can only have one type of item in each house. So for example, I can only have one bed per house. I can't have 2 beds in the same house. I can't have 2 toolboxes. And even items that you think you could have, such as storage or bookshelves, if you wanted to have a big wall of bookshelves, for example, the game actually wouldn't allow you to do that. You could only have one bookshelf, and it doesn't matter if it's on the first floor or the second floor. So that's kind of a bummer because, as you can see, I have a lot of items. I have purchased a lot of furniture from Woody and from Michael, and I can't use a lot of it. And a lot of it I don't even like, so it's kind of hard to really use it. Now, of course, I'm missing a lot of stuff in this list here. You can see that I am missing quite a few things, but all the main stuff I have. Everything that I really will ever need, I have. So I'm very, very happy with how the house looks now. So moving on to the outside, you can see the outside of the house is massive as well. I've decided to stick with the blue color theme. I really like the way that the blue house looks. Just outside, it just stands out and it looks really, really nice. I've also paid Woody to have it moved over. The house was over here before, it was up against the road, but I decided because it was such a big house, I really wanted to have it centered in my property. So if I bring up the little menu here, you can see just how much of the property is taken up just by the house on its own. So because of that, I've decided to also move my crops, because there's not really a lot of space for crops, which I will be showing off later on in the video. And I've also moved the watering hole, just because there's no point in it being on the property. So a lot of moving around, a lot of furniture being moved around, a lot of crops and a lot of buildings being moved around. I'm also still really bummed out about how poor this grass looks, but the storm wiped them out in such weird spots that it would be such a waste of money for me to plant more grass. But my animals can still graze, so I guess that is a positive thing. And the only thing that's really new with the animals is that my baby sheep grew up. Sheepish is now an adult and will be able to give me wool, which I'm really, really excited about, because sheep are actually pretty good profit. And I still do plan to get 3 more animals over here to fill the spot so Sheepish isn't so lonely. I'm gonna ship this wool, and this should allow me to get another note as well. This is a note I've been waiting for a little while. This is the shearing note. Thank you, sheep. The wool that was gathered with gratitude. A note for soft sheep's wool. And you get that when you ship 10 pieces of wool. Now, I usually turn my wool into yarn because it's much more profitable, but shipping yarn actually doesn't count towards the total. So it takes a very long time to get that number up. So I'm gonna bring all my animals outside. And the main reason for that is because sheep only give you wool every 6 days, I want to say. Maybe it's 8 days. Either way, it takes a while to get the profit, but definitely worth it. You could see there that when I shipped that yarn, it was worth 2,400 gold. And I frankly think it's worth the payoff. Some people may not, just because it might be more profitable to have a cow. You know, the cow will give you profit. It'll give you 200 or 300 gold per day. However, I think having sheep in the batch is also a really good idea. So I'm not sure what I'm going to buy for my last 3 animals, but we'll see. We'll get there eventually. I'm just going to fill up their feed boxes and head on out. I'll let these guys graze. I'm going to take my horse out for a little ride. Opona's training level is at 10, which is great, so I have successfully trained her up, and I should have a really good chance at the horse festival later on in the season. So I'm just going to go to where my crops are now and just show everybody my little crop setup that I've made for myself. I think it's going to work pretty well, quite honestly. I'm pretty happy with the change. It's going to allow me to get a bit more profit, I hope, and fall shouldn't give me any storms to deal with, unlike summer. So here we are. This is where I've decided to put my crops, and I do believe that I mentioned this in the last video. But in case you forgot or I didn't, this is the town plot. This is actually one of the 3 properties that you can live in at the start of the game, and it's just below the clinic. But this is a pretty prime area. It's in the middle of town, it's nice and close to my house, and it has just enough space. Taking care of all of this is actually quite time consuming and it takes up a lot of stamina. So having 9 plots is actually really perfect for me. It's allowed me to have a couple of choices for what I want to grow. I had to use fertilizer on this soil. It wasn't very good quality, but that was okay. I currently have one row of pumpkins. They do not grow back. However, they're very, very profitable, so I decided to grow some pumpkins. I have eggplants growing in this row here. Eggplants will regrow throughout the entire season, so they're replenishable, which is great. I don't have to replant them. And the third row is bell peppers. So I've definitely made some good choices. The only other ones that I haven't grown are the carrots and yams. Carrots don't grow back and aren't worth much anyways, and yams are, you know, decent. So I've also moved my little watering hole over here so that if my watering can gets empty, I can fill it up. And I was debating buying this piece of land here. You can see it's just common property, and using that as my plot for crops. But I figured this was a lot better. It really works out evenly. I can really get a good even amount of crops on it. This is a lot of land to take care of. It's really uneven. You can see it has kind of like a staircase effect up here, which I think would be a little bit annoying to work around. And taking care of these is enough work as it is. You can see how much my stamina has drained. So we're gonna see how that works out. Hopefully I can get my money back because I'm really broke right now. I spent a lot of money on seeds and on fertilizer and a couple of other things. So now that that's all said and done, I now have Ronald up to 3 hearts, and by doing that I'm going to be able to unlock another character if I visit the orchard. So we have another child character. One of very few, I may add. Hola, Nixos! This is one of my relatives' daughter. Her name is Meryl. I love all these spelling errors, they're great. And she's not very talkative, it looks like. Meryl has somewhat of a past. Well, so in any case, please be friendly to her. But she's like 8 years old. And obviously she doesn't seem to like us very much. Very, very shy little girl, it looks like. So maybe we'll have to warm up to her a bit. So not a very good first impression. Meryl is very, very quiet, and when you speak to her, she only says one word, hello, goodbye. Doesn't really seem too interested in talking to you. However, it's kind of good news because it's not really necessary to befriend her. I think there is one event in the game where you can see an event between her and Tim, but other than that, it's honestly not really necessary. If you don't feel like talking to her, you don't have to. And she appears here on our list, lives at the Paradise Orchard, a quiet and reserved girl with a skeleton or two in her closet. It makes me believe that she killed her parents, and if I'm not nice to her, she's gonna come and burn my house down. So I'm a little afraid of her, to be honest, even though she's very, very small. But anyhow, with Meryl in our list, we are now only missing one villager, and that villager is your child. So we have actually successfully unlocked every single character in the game, which I think is great. And we have a few people missing, which you may have seen in the list here if I can find them. I think they're a bit further up. But people have been leaving because I've been really focused on property management. I haven't been shipping a whole lot, so Carl has left again. So he's now gone. I don't know when he'll be back. And of course, when he leaves, Katie also leaves. Gwen has left, and Dia has also left. So I actually have a lot of people in the village that are missing right now. So hopefully we'll get them back. And I do believe if you have everybody in town at once and you have 35 villagers moved in, you will be able to get a note for that as well. And that's certainly within our reach, so I'd like to do that at some point. And that's pretty much all that I really wanted to show off in this video. It took a while to do all those changes and a lot of money. Like I said, I'm very broke, even though it doesn't really seem like a whole lot. But I feel like I'm off to a great start. I think it's really gonna benefit me, and I'm gonna get all that money back that I spent, and I'm gonna have to spend a lot of my stamina watering my crops, which I'm gonna have to keep in mind for the season. When I upgraded my first house, I went ahead and I thought it would be a good idea to rearrange my second house. So here it is. I didn't upgrade it, I didn't make it any bigger, but I kind of made it a rustic cabin kind of theme, because it's kind of like my rustic cabin in the woods. So I have a lot of wood items, brown and yellow, I kind of went with as a color scheme, and I wanted an excuse to use some of that furniture that I bought that I haven't really been able to use. So here it is. This is second house. I slept in this a couple of days ago just because it was a lot more convenient, so I am still getting a little bit of use out of the second house. However, it's really not all that much. So that's about all I really have to say. I'm going to update you guys more as things unfold. I most likely will not do another update until the 17th when we get to the horse race. But who knows, if I end up having a super eventful month, then I may have a lot of updates for you. It just depends on how it all goes. So wish me luck, everybody, as I move on into the fall season. Hopefully I can get a lot done. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.